All right, looks like there's some traffic coming up ahead. I'm gonna try and go to the right lanes if possible to try and avoid as much as I can, but we are pretty much into the thick of Los Angeles traffic, or Los Angeles area traffic. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're gonna be going from Buena Park area or Anaheim area up to Los Angeles back home in this afternoon-ish rush hour, evening rush hour traffic. Let's see how Autopilot does in today's commute. Let's get into the video. Okay, so we're basically in rush hour traffic right now, passing the Buena Park area. The reason why there's so much traffic here is because we go from like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes, I think, down to 4 or even 3. And then there's a construction area in the next part of the highway after this on the 5 going north. So I'm already engaged in Autopilot. We're going about 14 miles an hour, very, very slowly. But we do have to merge coming up because this lane merges into the left and there is this semi-truck to the left of us right now. So hopefully Autopilot can merge pretty easily. Hopefully Autopilot can merge without any glitches. All right, so we're accelerating a little bit. Autopilot hasn't realized that it's merged into one lane just yet. This Honda Fit is kind of increasing a little bit speed, not necessarily, we're just slowing down, and we have merged pretty successfully. So that wasn't too bad. Autopilot didn't freak out there and wanted us to take over, so it was able to get into this lane pretty easily. But now we have left so much gap in front of us for no reason whatsoever. Oh, actually, wait, never mind. My cruise control speed was set to 14 miles an hour, so that's why there was a gap up there. So my apologies there. I've increased speed to about 35 miles an hour. I'm just gonna go ahead and increase it to 70 miles an hour so that it gives Autopilot full acceleration that it needs to be so that it can close all these gaps. In terms of what version this is 2020.44.10.1. This is the latest version of Autopilot. I've paid for full self-driving beta, but I do not have the full self-driving beta rewrite and all that stuff that some other owners have. So this is just, I don't even know what this is. This is just Autopilot with some of the full self-driving features. Got a lot of flack for that in one of my recent videos that I posted about a couple weeks ago because I titled it Full Self-Driving Beta, which I've paid for, but I don't necessarily have the new beta rewrite. I just have features of the full self-driving. In terms of the conditions out, it's 70 degrees outside, clear skies, but we are getting to that evening time, so it is gonna get dark pretty soon, or that dusk time, because it is about 4 o'clock. All right, so another merge right here. We're going down to the 3 lanes, and there's a Civic that wants to kind of just get accelerated ahead, so we can't merge completely into it yet. Autopilot is kind of just hesitating a little bit, accelerating a little bit, and then kind of braking. But it looks like there is now a BMW in that lane, and we still haven't merged into one lane yet, so it's just going to increase, kind of creep up a little bit and try and figure out when it's going to merge into this lane. Now Autopilot just wants to accelerate, and okay, there was a little bit of heavy braking and we have merged behind the Civic, so not too bad. I can see why maybe that Civic was confused on what we were doing because we were pretty much at the same pace or the same level of where the Civic was. So maybe the Civic thought that we were going to accelerate past it and merge into the lane instead. This is a construction area right here, so I do imagine Autopilot is going to glitch a little bit, but hopefully it can just navigate through this area pretty easily. It does want to go into the left lane here for, I guess, just to follow the route, even though we're going to be on the 5 for another 15 miles. So I'm not necessarily going to get into that lane. We can just stay in this lane and go straight. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that auto lane change. Thanks for watching another video, guys. If you're new here, my name is Dennis. I picked up this Tesla Model 3 about a year ago, and I make videos about my experience. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. All right, so this is a little gnarly there. The lanes, if you could see on the screen, that it was trying to go a little bit to the left because of the old construction zone, but Autopilot was trying to figure out where to go, whether to go left or right. So it hugged really close to the left side there. At the last second, it still stayed in the lane and followed it to the right side. I almost took over there because it was getting really close to the car next to us, but luckily Autopilot figured out that the lane was going to the right and it was able to follow that lane instead. We do have some cars coming up on the right here. So let's see what Autopilot does. Okay, a little bit of heavy braking there. I guess Autopilot is going to be nice and let these cars in. So it broke pretty heavily and it said, hey guys, you can just come on into my lane. So now we let the cars in. Now we're increasing speed to about 55 miles an hour. We still have a little bit of gap in front of us and we're probably just gonna stay this is probably like 3 to 4 car lengths behind this van and just cruise along. We're now going about 58 miles an hour on a 65 cruise control setting. So I'm gonna go ahead and increase that to 70. And then now would probably be a good time for me to get into the left lane, but I'm gonna wait. Okay, Autopilot wants to get into the left lane. I just triggered it into the auto lane change and pretty smoothly. Now I imagine it's gonna increase to 70 miles an hour to close this gap because these cars are definitely going a little bit quicker. And just like that, we're at 70 miles an hour. All right, so this car is going a little bit slow. I just hit the auto lane change and a little bit of phantom braking in there. I guess it's braking because it's maybe sees the shadow from this big truck, but it broke a little bit there pretty heavily and then now it's accelerating past that truck. I think there's a little bit of traffic coming up ahead because I think we go from 4 or 5 lanes down to 4. So we'll see how Autopilot handles that area as well. Definitely a couple things I have noticed with this newest update is that the phantom braking has definitely gotten a little bit better. It used to be where it would just phantom brake under bridges or just for really no reason at all, but it seems to have gone a little bit better and there's a little bit more logic for why it's braking pretty heavily. All right, so we're coming into a little bit of traffic here, reducing speed to about 44 miles an hour, still keeping this pretty big distance between these cars. Now we're slowing down to, no, still going the same speed. All right, now we're slowing down to 35 and then now 20 miles an hour. Probably just gonna pace behind these cars. Typically there is more traffic here, so right now it's actually not too bad. This is another thing that I've realized with the newest update. Typically with a nag timer, you can usually hit the scroll wheel to appease it, but now it won't even do that anymore. So I've had to kind of just knock it out of autopilot, re-engage it back into autopilot. The one problem with that is when you re-engage it, you kind of reset the speed. So I'm just going ahead and increase the speed back to 70 miles an hour because we can go faster than 50 miles an hour. Of course, there's a little bit of construction zone right here, a little bit of braking because these cars in front of us are braking. Slowing down to about 40 miles an hour, but that was actually pretty smooth. It wasn't too jerky at all. Okay, so we're exiting out of that traffic area a little bit, increasing speeds about 50 miles an hour. Pretty smooth in this area. Autopilot doesn't really want to make any adjustments or any lane changes. Cruise control setting is set to 60, so I'm going to go ahead and increase that to 75. A little bit of light braking there, which is nice. I like how Autopilot is not braking too heavily anymore and is trying to brake naturally or accelerate naturally. A little bit of more braking because of the cars in front of us are stopping, but it's detecting that the cars in the left lane are going a little bit slower than us, so it's trying to be a little bit conservative with accelerating to close this gap, as you can kind of see. A little bit of braking right there, slowing down to about 25 miles an hour. Now Autopilot wants to get into the left lane because it thinks it's faster, but I can see from my viewpoint here that it's actually not faster and it's actually going to stop ahead of there, just like this lane. It actually looks like the right lane is a little bit faster. I don't think Autopilot actually recommends going into the right lane as a faster lane. So slowing down to a crawl at 5 miles an hour. A little bit of some traffic here, accelerating a little bit. Not too jerky at all right now, which is really nice. Okay, so a little bit of heavy braking because the cars in front of us are slowing down. But Autopilot has been pretty good on this drive so far. It's actually, I can feel the differences, I think, between the latest update and this one. But it's definitely a little bit smoother in terms of the acceleration and the braking. The one thing that it's still having a little bit of an issue with is the merges. I think it's still a little bit aggressive, or it doesn't realize that it's in a merge lane early enough. So it kind of keeps the same pace as vehicles it's merging with, and it doesn't kind of let them in enough. But they're probably still trying to figure out that bit about highway merging, but it's definitely gotten a lot better. Before with highway merges, it would just completely freak out and it would make you take over. But now it's trying to figure out what's going on with the merges, and it allows cars to go in front of you. But yeah, this is pretty much where I'm probably gonna go ahead and end it. But yeah, we're almost back home, so this is probably where I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Thanks for watching another video, guys, and hit that like if you enjoyed it. And comment below if you have this latest version of the Tesla update and if you feel it's gone smoother since the last one. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.